All right, here we go. We have Hollywood royalty in the building. Vivica A. Foxx, welcome to VladTV.
Thank you so much, darling. Glad to be here.
Such a longtime fan of
Oh,
a lot of movies that you've done.
yeah.
Just hits over and over again. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. I have had an absolutely wonderful career for sure.
Well, let's talk about the career.
Sure.
It's your first time here, so I want to start in the beginning.
Okay.
So you were born in South Bend, Indiana?
Mm-hmm. South Bend, Indiana. I am a Hoosier from the Midwest. And then when I was 4 years old, my mom moved us down to Indianapolis, Indiana with my 3 other siblings. I have an older sister and 2 brothers. I'm the baby of the family.
And your parents' name is actually Foxx.
Yes, yes.
Everyone just assumed that it was a stage name, but
I
no.
know. And do you know that when I first started acting, I wasn't even comfortable with my name growing up. A lot of people couldn't pronounce Vivica, so I was called Vivica, Vivisha. I was called everything but Vivica. And so my middle name is Anjanetta. So to make everyone comfortable, my nickname was Angie. And so everybody called me Angie.
Okay, so you're growing up in Indiana, but at one point you actually relocate to California.
Yes, I left 1 month after I graduated from high school, Arlington High School, home of the Golden Knights. In search of a dream. I knew what I wanted to do in life. I knew that it wouldn't happen in Indianapolis. When I was a senior in high school, like everyone was like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to college. And I was like, I'm going to California and I'm going to become a star. And here we are, 3 decades later, and I'm Vivica A. Foxx.
Now, were you taking like acting classes or doing drama or anything in high school, or did that come later?
No, well, I was always very active. I'm my mom's hyper child. They used to nickname me Cartwheel Angie because I was always turning flips or doing something. And in high school, I played basketball, volleyball, track, and I was a cheerleader. And I used to do the plays every year, the school plays. So I think that's where it's kind of happened. But acting wasn't when I left Indianapolis, what I wanted to do. I kind of thought it would be modeling because I'm tall. I'm 5'8", and so I thought modeling would happen for me. But then acting fell in my lap, and boy, am I glad.
Okay, but before the acting, you actually ended up being a dancer on Soul Train, right?
Yes, I was a Soul Train dancer.
Boom.
Yes, and how that came about is that I had to convince my mom that I was going to school in California. That was the only way I was going to leave. So I went to Golden West College in Orange County, graduated with an AA in social sciences. Still, I don't know what that would have gotten me a job in because I really wanted to be in entertainment. And so I was living with a Filipino family, Gigi and Lisa. They were good friends of mine. And Gigi had a friend by the name of Lisa Harrington. And Lisa Harrington was a model. And she said, hey, do you want to go with me? I go up and I do Soul Train. Soul Train? Yeah, that's like the American bandstand for African Americans at the time. So I jumped at the opportunity. And when I got there, I'll never forget, I had on my graduation dress, a gray dress with some funny shoulders. And I got picked to be on the risers, and which is huge. You know, when you get to pick to be on the risers, that's like such an honor. And then from there, I kept going back, and then I got picked to do the line. And then after that, I think I got picked to do the scramble board twice. And then later in life, I became good friends with the late Don Cornelius, and I hosted several Soul Train Awards.
So dope.
Yeah.
So dope. Okay, so you're in California, you're doing Soul Train, but that's not really paying the bills at that point.
No, you're lucky if you get a Kentucky Fried Chicken lunch.
Right.
That's what they served us.
So then you moved to New York to model.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess you were living in a Prince's apartment with a friend of yours?
Yes, my girlfriend Jill Jones, who happened to be the beautiful platinum blonde in the 1999 video. I had met her before in Los Angeles. And when I got to New York, I gave her a call because I moved to Hell's Kitchen, which going from Huntington Beach to Hell's Kitchen was quite a shocker for me. I'll never forget. Like I thought New York was like bright lights, big city. And this was before Manhattan was cleaned up. And I mean, I'll never forget that then I lived in Hell's Kitchen, that I literally called my mom and I was like, I've moved to hell. And So I reached out to Jill, and she came over to meet me. She's like, "Where are you living at?" And I told her. She came and met me. She's like, "Oh my God, this is where you're staying?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Come on over to my spot." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I walked in and was like, "Okay, you're living in paradise in Manhattan." She literally was staying in this beautiful penthouse. And she's like, "Listen, I've got 2 little dogs and I need someone to look out for them. So I got to be on the road. Would you mind, in exchange for rent? I'll charge you a little bit if you can take care of my dogs." And I was like, "Absolutely." So I moved from Hell's Kitchen up to the penthouse. And she, at the time, was dating Prince.
And you actually didn't meet Prince then, but you met him years later.
Yes, I did. When he was doing that amazing tour and he was at the Forum. And I actually got to go on stage and dance. And I just remember him looking at me with the most beautiful green eyes I think that I've ever seen. And he's a rock star, and we miss him. But yeah, I got to dance with him on stage, and then unfortunately, he passed away.
Okay, so you're doing the modeling thing, and then right around 1988, that's when you start getting some gigs, soap operas.
Well, I moved back to California after Jill decided that she wasn't going to live in the penthouse anymore. And I was not going back to Hell's Kitchen. I was like, forget that, because Manhattan is extremely expensive. And I was still, at the time, a starving artist because, hey, everywhere I went to the modeling agency, they're like, "We got a pretty black girl, looks just like you." And that was before the days of seeing that African-American women come in all different shades and colors. And so when Jill said she was moving, I went straight back to California. And then, thank God, I was discovered. I kind of have a Lana Turner story, but I'll let you ask me that.
Okay. So you started doing some soap operas.
Yes.
Days of Our Lives.
Mm-hmm. Well, can I go back a little bit?
Go ahead.
I was seeing my modeling agent in Los Angeles, and the modeling agency happened to be on Sunset Boulevard. And afterwards, I met Jill, who at the time moved back to LA for lunch. So we're all sitting there talking, and this gentleman by the name of Trevor Walton walked up to me, just had on a regular little tennis outfit, and said, "Are you an actress?" And I was like, "No, I've modeled before." And he gave me his card. He walked away, and everybody's like, "Tell you what, if he invites you over his house, do not go, but give him a call." And he happened to be legit. He got me my first agent, Chris Schmidt, and he told me stop mentioning him in my interviews when I first became a soap actor star, because girls were emailing him and was like, "If you made Vivica Foxx a star, you can surely make me one too." So to this day, I still give him his props. So Trevor, another one.
Okay, so you're doing TV, and then in '89, you actually make your film debut.
Yes.
Born on the 4th of July.
Right.
With Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise.
Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Actually did the film. And you played a prostitute?
Yes, I did. Yeah, if you go back, my whole 30-second part was me making out with this vet in the vet hospital, and Tom Cruise was sitting there like, "Oh God, am I going to be able to have sex again? Oh my God, this, that, and the third." But can I tell you, when I met Tom Cruise, he was really, I didn't even know it was him, because he was had the messed up, he had just come back from the war, and he walked by and he said something to me like, "Oh, hey, you look nice." And I just kind of, it was my first movie. So I, it's kind of like a deer in headlights a little bit. And I was waiting for Tom Cruise, Top Gun, Tom Cruise to come through. "Hi, I'm Tom Cruise." But instead, he's got this jacked up hair. But it was the eyes, the beautiful eyes that he had, that when he said it and I looked, and he says, "Hey, nice to meet you." And he kept going. He was walking with everyone else. He didn't have security or anything like that. And then I went, "Oh my God, are you Tom Cruise?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've been laying next to you in the bed." And I was like, So, but I just remember the piercing blue eyes and that smile.
I mean, when you initially got the role, was there any hesitation of taking on a stereotypical, role in Hollywood where you only get to play hookers or drug dealers or criminals or that type of thing? Or was it more like, "Hey, this is my foot, and I don't care what it is, let's just go"?
Well, for me, I didn't care. To be very honest with you, it was
Yeah.
an opportunity to work with Tom Cruise, directed by Oliver Stone. I mean, those are two legends
Yeah.
right there. But can I tell you, they were very respectful. I mean, they could have been like, hey, take off your top, this, that, and the third. And they literally kept it kind of PG-13 safe. And me and the guy were just kind of like, making out. It wasn't a bad hooker. I've seen some hooker roles that you go, damn, girl, you did that to get in the business. So it wasn't that extreme for me.
Okay. And then you got on a show called Living Dolls.
Yes. Well, I did a pilot.
Pilot.
Yes. And when the show got picked up, they did not pick me up.
Right. Well, I guess you got replaced with Halle Berry.
I know. Wow. If you're going to get replaced by anybody, Halle Berry. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I was still green, though. To be very honest with you, I remember looking back at the pilot, which I did see, and I was green, which happens, but then, I've gotten a thick enough skin that when roles or things didn't happen for me, that I would just move on. I mean, I'm sure I shedded a tear or two, but I got right back out there and auditioned again and started taking some acting lessons.
Right, because that show, when it actually came out, was just absolutely blasted by the reviewers.
Oh, cool. Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the only series to receive an F grade by People Magazine.
No way. It got an F?
Yeah, and it got canceled after 12 episodes.
There you have it. So see there, it wasn't meant for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so then you start taking acting lessons.
I did.
And you're starting to get a few more roles, a few more soap opera roles and so forth. And then around 91, you started doing a lot of sitcoms. So you did Beverly Hills 90210, Family Matters, Matlock. You did Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I did.
How was that?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I'll take you back a little bit about this story. I used to understudy for Jasmine Guy for all the rehearsals for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And they were kind of like, hey, she's kind of good. And so then they gave me an opportunity to audition for the role of Janet, DJ Jazzy Jeff's crazy ass sister. And I went in there and I nailed that part. I really did. I showed up with the tight dress on, the boots, and had my comedy down. By this time, I had a private acting coach by the name of Sheila Wills, who I met when I did the soap opera Generations. And she used to coach me on all of my interviews. And she used to always show up with absolutely no doubt that the role is yours. Go in there and take it. And so for me, that was always my thought pattern when I showed up, to leave no excuses for them not to cast me. And literally by the time I was driving home, I got the part.
You were also on Martin.
Martin. Yeah, I was. I was friends with the entire cast from Martin. Martin and Chris Rock. Quick funny story. I was a waitress at LA Pasta and Pizza in the Beverly Center. And Martin and Chris Rock used to come by all the time and say hello to me. And they always remembered, when we both started, all of us started blowing up. They was like, you remember we met you at that pizza stall in the Beverly Center? And it's just amazing how humble beginnings now, all of us are now Hollywood royalty.
I mean, any crazy stories during doing all those sitcoms?
On Martin, I just remember that Tisha was telling me that Martin had a funny thing about the soles. He didn't like to see the soles of shoes.
What?
Who knew that if they were scratched up or messed up, it was just his pet peeve. He hated to see the soles of shoes. But I mean, you figure that they do the show for 5 or 6 seasons, that people find their little things that bug them. Like me, I have a thing about tags. I hate to see tags in people's clothes when they're on camera and on the red carpet as well too. So I always cut mine out.
Okay, so you're doing some TV.
Yes.
And then you get a role in Don't Be a Menace in South Central.
Woo-hoo.
While drinking your juice in the hood.
Right.
Which is still a hood classic.
It is.
To this day.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't a big role, right?
And they've got my memes, that look that I did to him. Honey, you know ain't no positive female role models in these kind of movies.
Right.
Yeah, so people hit me with that on Twitter.
Yeah, and that was sort of a parody of Menace to Society,
Yes.
Boys in the Hood, a bunch of other
And I played
films.
Angela Bassett's character from Boys in the Hood.
Right.
That was what my character was modeled after.
I mean, did you think when making that movie that was going to be a classic this many years later?
You know, you never know. Can I tell you that as an actress? I've worked on some projects that I thought were going to be major hits that kind of landed with a resounding thud. There are no guarantees. But with that one, you could have a little bit of faith just due to the fact that it was directed by and produced by Keenan Ivory Wayans and the whole living color, and then the brothers and everything. And they had a budget.
There you go.
Budgets help.
Budgets help. Okay. And then in 1996,
yes,
Independence Day.
Wow.
How did you get that role?
Okay. This is a good story.
Let's go.
All right. I was on the soap opera Young and the Restless at the time. And I remember calling my agent and saying, everybody in named Mama is getting a chance to audition for Independence Day. Why aren't I? I just did Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with him. It was awesome. I've worked with Will. I know Will. And they were like, honey, my agent at the time, she said, you just do not have a big enough name. This is going to be a $60 million. And 20 years ago, for a budget to be $60 million was huge.
Yeah.
And they're only looking for A-listers. And I was like, well, that sucks. I said, well, can you please just try to, submit me and see what happens? The producer's wife at the time, Bill Fay, his wife was home pregnant. He came home frustrated one day and was like, we are not lucking up on finding the character Jasmine. She says, oh my gosh, I just saw this beautiful black girl today on Young and the Restless. And they were like, okay, let's look her up. Well, it was me on Young and the Restless. They called me in. I had to audition 6 times. Now, I'll make this other little snippet of it quick too. The very first time that I went in for the audition, I had on a tight patent leather white jumpsuit with white boots because she was a stripper. Boobs up, ready, big old hair, this, that, and the third. And the casting director, I remember when I walked in, she was just kind of like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah. We finished. She says, it's a good thing you can act. Because if you couldn't act, I was so ready to throw you out the door. And I'm like, why? And she goes, yes, she's a stripper. Yes, you have a nice body, but she's a stripper with a heart of gold. Stripping is just what she does. And I said, okay, I'm sorry that I took it so literally. And she goes, I want you to go home and I want you to watch the movie Speed. And I said, okay. She says, pay attention to the wardrobe that Sandra Bullock has on. And that's all I'm going to tell you. If you don't take that note for your callback, you're not going to get this part. So, of course, I went home and I watched Speed a couple of times. And I saw that I got it. And so the next callback, I showed up with a pretty flower dress on, bobby socks, and some combat boots. And as soon as I walked in, she goes, there we go. But then I had to audition 4 more times just because I didn't have a name at the time. I was only on a soap opera.
Right, because the cast of this was, Will Smith.
Yes.
And that was his first movie role?
No, that was his first. He was going to be the lead. Now, don't forget, before that, Will was in Bad Boys. I remember him running down the street with the shirt open. He went from being Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, kind of goofy but fun guy, to, damn, is that Will Smith? He had body, the shirt, and he says they had to talk him into doing that shot. I remember I was like, Michael, man, I'm not doing this shirt running down the street. Man, that's going to be corny. And everybody in the audience is like, damn, Will Smith got body like that. So by now, he's now moving into lead actor, movie star.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned 6 times and I got the part. Another quick funny story is the first day of filming, I wasn't their first choice. They did have their first choice, but they were like, we'll go with her. She's cute.
Who's the first choice?
I'm going to tell you. Okay. So anyway, I'm doing the first day. And the first day I get there, I've got to drive a truck, shoot a gun, rescue the first lady, rescue the dog, rescue the kid, all in one day while looking good with a hair toss. And we're in the desert. We're in Wendover, Utah, which I nicknamed Bendover, Utah, because it was so damn hot. It was like 100 degrees and I had to look beautiful. And I drove that truck and it was a stick shift. So anyway, I found out at the premiere of the movie, the director said, did you know if you didn't do good on the first day, we were going to fire you? And I said, what? He said, yeah, the girl that we wanted, she was at the time on a series with Montel Williams, and they wouldn't let her go. Your first day of filming, they called her and said, hey, we'll work with you guys' schedule. We didn't realize how big of a movie Independence Day was going to be. So they said, oh, God, we hate to do this to this kid, but let's look at her dailies, and if she's not good, we'll just give her the boot and pay her and go, $200 million movie back then, or $60 million then. And the dailies came back, and they went, nah, that's Jasmine. So.
And who was the other actress?
I don't know her name. I just know she was on a series. She was a light-skinned tall girl with green eyes. I don't know her name.
Got it.
Offhand. She didn't become Vivica Foxx, I tell you that much.
Well, I was interviewing Edie from The Outlaws, and I remember he told me that Tupac was actually up for that role that Will Smith got.
Really?
And then he died, of course.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew. Wow.
Yeah, Tupac. Yeah.
I don't know how that would have worked.
Because he was doing his thing leading up to it, and Poetic Justice and everything else like that, and he was really gearing up to be
movie star. Absolutely.
He was going to leave really music alone because the movies were just paying so much more, and he was becoming a lead character and everything else like that. So really, this last project, he was actually going to the Machiavelli project was supposed to be just a mixtape that he gave away for free, and he was just going to do movies.
Wow. And I was also in Tupac's videos too. Tupac video as well too. Mama Song. And he was also a very good friend of mine too.
Okay.
And we were in Vegas the night he got shot.
You were in Vegas when he got killed?
Yes.
We
were actually looking, no, I didn't see the actual shooting, but we were like hoping to run into him at the after party. I was actually at his first performance when he was released from jail. And talk about gone too soon.
Yeah.
So charismatic, so beautiful, so talented. But it's crazy because Will Smith was like the all-American boy next door. Mm-hmm. To see that as Tupac, that would have been interesting.
It would have.
Yeah.
It would have.
Because I don't know how I would have seen him and Jeff Goldblum, that chemistry, because the chemistry between Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith was
great.
So amazing
that
we were missing it in Independence Day too.
Right.
Trust and believe that.
Right. I mean, when you found out that Tupac got killed while you're still in Vegas, how'd you feel?
Well, he hadn't died first.
Right. Well, he was
got
in
shot.
the hospital,
Right.
For a few
so
days.
We lived for a couple of days, and we all definitely prayed for him. It was just such a huge loss. Huge loss. It really was. I remember waking up the next morning and hearing that he had got shot, and it was like, oh, man. And we just kept praying that he was going to pull through, but, live by the sword, die by the sword, unfortunately.
Yeah. Was there like a moment that you can remember in your relationship with Tupac that really stands out?
With Pac?
Yeah, because there always seems to be some Pac stories.
Oh, my God.
People that hung out with
was
him.
The first time that he performed in Vegas, and he wanted to hang out with us, and we ended up in the VIP section, me and my girlfriend, hanging out with him, having the best time. And I said, welcome home. And he was always real cool when I saw him. Real cool. That smile, What's up, Viv? How you doing, Viv? Yeah.
Okay, so Independence Day comes out. 800 million worldwide.
Yes.
Absolute smash to this day.
Yes.
And even though Will Smith was doing Bad Boys, this is the one that I think put him over the top.
Oh, absolutely.
As just a bona fide action star, which he's still riding off to this day.
Yes.
How did you feel to really have an important role? Because you played his girlfriend.
Yes,
Jasmine,
his wife.
His wife, sorry.
He married me.
Sorry. His wife, Jasmine Dubrow?
Yes.
So you have this key role in a huge film.
Right.
Did things change for you career-wise after this?
Absolutely. The phone started literally ringing off the hook. I think I did 4 or 5 movies back to back to back after that. And it was excellent for me as well, too. It definitely propelled me into movie star A-list, where, didn't have to audition anymore. The offers were coming, had a little bit more power that when, they called for stuff that I could, and I got a series. I mean, it just opened up tons of doors.
Right, because the next film was Set It Off.
Yes.
Still a classic to this day.
Yes. And Will Smith was actually my acting coach for that.
Wow.
He coached me for the role of Frankie in our trailers while we were filming Independence Day because the director, F. Gary Gray, came to visit me on the set of Independence Day.
Such a different film.
Totally.
I mean, 4 girls, doing crimes and the sisterhood of it all. Like,
Yes.
you didn't really see female movies like that,
At all.
especially with black leads.
Yeah.
Like, this was a total game changer, I think, in Hollywood.
Yes, it was.
Because there was a $9 million budget. It made $41 million.
Yes, and it's still a classic to this
Still
day.
a classic.
Yeah.
And, I mean, did that pretty much launch Queen Latifah's acting career?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, she was on Living Single at the time.
Right. But for films.
Yes, for film, it definitely made her a movie star. She was already a rap star as well, too.
Yeah.
But I commend Latifah because she was doing Living Single, an album, and Set It Off at the same time. So the majority of the time, thank God we had rehearsals. Like Latifah would be like in her chair, like sleep during hair and makeup, which she didn't wear a lot anyway because she played Khalil.
Yeah.
But the camaraderie and that we got with that film, like, is something like I'll never forget. I introduced Latifah to sushi. I took her to Sushi on Sunset at the time because she was from New York. She said, ain't nobody gonna eat none of that raw fish, girl. Come on. And to this day, she now loves,
Loves
having
sushi.
sushi. Yeah.
Right, because it was you, Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith,
Yes.
which is Jada Pinkett back then. I don't know if she was married yet. And Kimberly Elise.
Directed by F. Gary Gray, who, if I can take hats off to him, he was so focused that it then rubbed over to all of us because, as you said, there wasn't a film like that with 4 African-American female leads doing a bank robbery movie that he tapped into every element. He pulled the heartstrings. He tapped into the soundtrack. He got cameos from Dr. Dre. Like, it was like literally like the hood all bonding together to make a good film. Because I remember him saying to me one time, I don't want people to laugh at this movie. And we were like, how they gonna laugh at us? He says 4 girls robbing banks. I don't want them to go in there thinking, oh, that it's slapstick. I want to make the stories to make sense. And to this day, I use his analogy for when I do a film, that the relationships have to make sense. What is the motivation of the characters? Why do they behave the way they do? So I learned that lesson from F. Gary Gray.
Any crazy stories?
Sure.
What's the craziest story from Set It Off?
I will never forget the night my death scene where I filmed it at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. It was freezing. And I remember that the police officer, oh my God, the actor who's huge now. Oh, McGraw, what is it? I can't think of his name right now. But there was a part of the thing where I pulled the neck on him and I was like, what's the fucking procedure? What's the procedure when you got a gun at your head? And he kept saying, Vivica, could you do me a favor? Just aim right there. You're almost putting this thing, it's a little intense. And I think I just never did it right. And I think he just, as an actor, ran with it. So anyway, I then turn around to run away. She basically commits suicide. And I asked F. Gary Gray, I was like, can you let me at least have one last moment where I go, it's over? And he goes, Viv, we already talked about it. It wasn't written. I was like, just give me a take. And that's what you love about F. Gary Gray, that he would give you a take. There were 2 lines throughout the movie that I improv'd. Was when the girl wouldn't, Ella Joyce, sitting there, I got blood splattered all over me. I've just watched a lady's head get blasted off, and she's sitting there drinking water, and no one offers me water. And I'm like, dude, I walk out, and the only African-American female that's there is not going to offer me water. So let me say something to her. And I said, that line was, you didn't offer me anything to drink, sister. And I did it. And he goes, first he was like, no. I was like, come on, just let me have it. And we did it. Classic moment. Everybody in the audience like, that's right. She should have offered you something to drink. And then it's over. He kept that too. And because I said, there has to be something that she knows. You're turning around running away from cops, you're going to get blasted on.
Yeah.
And he kept it, so.
Well, and Queen Latifah played a lesbian character on there, which you didn't really see a lot of that in Hollywood at the time.
No.
Especially a black lead lesbian character.
Right.
Not in the closet, out there. She had a girlfriend and, she had the braids.
Four.
And, she had the 6'4".
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think she broke some boundaries with that.
She absolutely did. And people, somebody just sent me something the other day, B. Simone, who's a huge blogger. They love doing that scene with us on the roof getting high. You know,
Right.
you look like Sugar Bear. They love that scene.
Okay, so then the next movie was Booty Call.
Yes.
With Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Also had Tommy Davidson
Mm-hmm.
and Tamala Jones.
Yeah.
I remember I interviewed her, and she was saying that right around that time when that movie came out, Bill Cosby, who was criticizing a lot of black comedians and actors and actresses, kind of slammed the film and saying, we don't want to see, black people shouldn't be doing movies called Booty Call that just focus on body parts and needs to do more clean humor and so forth. She said she was really bothered by that. Did you hear anything about that during that time?
I really didn't. I don't know if I was just so busy that just kind of like went over my head.
Right.
Well, he would be blown away by the stuff they do now. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like but I think that was like him coming from the world of Cosby where everything was so clean and, and imagery was just really, the thing to do. And at the time he was, but, I worked with Bill Cosby. I did the Cosby Show. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I think maybe at the time I probably just was like, yeah, he's entitled to his opinion. You ain't got to like everything. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah. Well, Jamie Foxx was your co-star.
Yes.
What was that like?
At the time, Jamie got on my damn nerves.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest with you because at the time, I think I was working on a lot of different projects. And Jamie at the time, he was always practicing on the piano. And I was like, yo, man, and then we were going out partying with him at night. And I remember one time I was like, if you don't stop playing that damn piano, what is that going to get you? Well, was I wrong? Was I hella wrong? Okay.
Got him a lot.
I was wrong, super, super wrong.
Got him
right,
Ray, which he won an Oscar for.
He won an Oscar.
Right.
He put out an album. So, Vivica, be careful what you say. I just remember that I used to just go, how is that gonna pay off for you? And I was wrong. So, But I just think at the time I was a little sleep deprived because Jamie could sleep for like 2-3 hours and then go 100 miles an hour the next day. Mm-hmm. So I think with me, it was like trying to hang with him, trying to learn my lines. And at the time, probably feeling myself a little bit because I had Independence Day out.
Right.
That was why he was getting on my nerves. But literally, I love him to this day. We're good friends and stuff. But I can remember that when we were filming, I was like, if you play that damn piano one more time.
Okay. So then after that, you were in Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Misbehaving.
Yes.
So you got your superhero film under your belt.
Yeah.
And then Soul Food came out.
Yeah.
With Vanessa Williams, Nia Long, and Mekhi
Soul
Phifer.
Food wasn't first?
Maybe around the same time.
Yeah.
It was right around the same time.
No, I think Soul Food, it was kind of like Soul Food. Soul Food, Set It Off. Two Can Play That Game. Oh, no.
Was that
Soul Food, Set It Off. Independence Day? Or no, Independence Day, Set It Off, Two Can Play That Game. Yeah, Soul Food was toward the beginning.
Two Can Play That Game was 2000. So that came later.
Who's that?
Two Can Play That Game was later on.
Well,
yeah.
maybe just for me, my favorites.
Yeah, maybe
But
that.
I think Soul Food was first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right around the same
Yes.
time. And that was a big success.
Yes, it was.
And Vanessa Williams was in it, Nia Long, Mekhi Phifer.
Yeah.
You got an NAACP Image Award, MTV Award for Best Performance. Did you know that film was going to take off when you were doing it?
Yes.
So you just knew.
That one was a good one. Well, let me tell you, I hoped. Because as I told you, there's never a guarantee. I've worked on some movies that I thought was going to be all that in a bag of chips, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? But it's the timing of when they put a movie out. If the studio hasn't done their homework and make sure that the release, and it's a proper release, that the audience is that time. For me, it's like you kind of learn when certain films, it's like putting a Christmas film out in July. Why would you do that? So Soul Food, at the time, it was good to see an African-American family, good images, very positive, very clean. And they put it out around Thanksgiving when all the families are home and everybody's fellowshipping with each other. So it worked perfectly.
Great film.
Thank you.
Still a classic to this day.
I know. I carried you for 9 months, 23 minutes while your little pee-peed in my face. Yeah.
And then after that, Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yes. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Yes.
Halle Berry's in it.
Yes.
Did you ever confront her for taking a role in that TV show?
No, are you kidding? I've got too big of an ego to ever admit that. I think this is the first time I've ever admitted about Halle Berry taking my part in Living Dolls.
Living Dolls, right?
Yeah, but her and I are, forever connected because then, when she won the Oscar, she gave me a shout out.
Really?
Yeah.
Dope.
That was so dope. Like I cried. I was like,
Layla Rashawn is in it,
Yes.
as well as Lorenz Tate.
Lorenz Tate.
Then after that, right around that time, you got married.
Yeah.
To Christopher 6ix9ine Harvest.
I did.
And I guess you said you got married because everyone else was doing it.
I did. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, yeah. Everyone was having their Cinderella day, and I just wanted one too, to be very honest with you. Why the marriage didn't last a long time is because I didn't take the time to get to know him. That I just really I felt peer pressure and wanted to have my Cinderella day. Everybody else was getting married, so I wanted to do it, and I had it. I had my Cinderella day. My sister, my brother, my niece. I got married on this beautiful staircase. Paparazzi. Somebody from Paparazzi fell out of a tree trying to get pictures for it. I mean, it was beautiful. It was an InStyle magazine. I had my Cinderella day, but I should have honestly taken the time to get to know him a little bit better. I now to this day, with relationships, make sure that I take a little bit more time before I go so publicly with a relationship. It was a huge lesson for me. I mean, I was only married for 2.5 at most. I think it was 3 years. And, I have no ill will against him. I just didn't know him. And so that's why the relationship didn't last.
Well, what was the final straw? Because you guys got divorced in 2002.
Yes. The final straw for me was, at the time he was a singer. And his group that he was in, they were supposed to have been signed with Death Row Records, yet another connection with Tupac and Death Row. And when Tupac got killed and everything kind of fell apart with Death Row Records, he didn't go out and then try to pursue things with the same drive that I had for my career. And a woman doesn't like paying all the bills all the time. And I can only ask for help so many times before I had to come to the conclusion that I didn't want to be the breadwinner in this family. My mother didn't raise me to take care of a man. And that was the deciding factor.
So you were a sugar mama, basically.
I'm sorry?
You were a sugar mama, basically?
No, I wasn't a sugar mama then.
No?
Nah, I might be a sugar mama now, which I make sure I don't ever do. But no, we were the same age.
Okay. Well, I meant money-wise, sugar mama. You were paying for everything.
I was at the time, yeah.
Okay. So then you do Kingdom Come.
Yes.
LL Cool J, Jada Pinkett Smith, again.
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
How many Oscars Whoopi have by this point?
Oh, my God.
I've lost count.
Isn't she was an EGOT by then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson, Darius McCrary, who I've interviewed. Another classic film.
Thank you.
What was the best thing from that film, you think, while doing
The
it?
cast. The cast. Like, I can remember being in the makeup trailer and just looking around, and there's Whoopi Goldberg over there. There's LL Cool J over there. Jada was pregnant with Willow at the time. Loretta Devine. I mean, the cast was just awesome. Darius McCrary there, who, to this day, I'm good friends with, everyone. And I'm so blessed to that. And all of us still work with each other and, salute one another. So, but the cast for Kingdom Come was all that in a bag of chips.
Well, then, Two Could Play That Game came out.
Yeah.
Which I felt was one of your real standout roles.
Thank you.
And Morris Chestnut was...
Best kisser ever.
Best kisser ever. Okay, take your word for it. Anthony Anderson was in it. Tamala Jones. Gabriel Union. Monique.
Yes.
And Bobby Brown.
Yes.
And I
Wendy
guess...
Raquel Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess you got to know Whitney right around that time.
I did.
How was that?
I miss her. She was awesome. I was her lookout for Bobby Brown. We became really good friends. Yeah, I was her lookout for. She wanted me to always make sure that Bobby was on time and professional and respectful. So she always would call and say, "Was he on time? Did he know his lines?" And I can remember the first time that I got to hang out with her. She was like, "Hey," she called me, "You still working?" I was like, "No, I got off early." She's like, "Come hang out with me." And I said, "Well, where are you, girl?" She's like, "I'm at the Bel-Air Hotel." And I was like, "Whitney, give me a break." I got on a warm-up suit. I just got, she's like, "I'm casual. I'm casual too." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll come meet you." And I was rolling with my boy, my business partner, Darren Bond at the time. I said, "Well, I got Darren with me." She's like, "I love Darren. Bring Darren." I said, "Okay, we're casual." And I had just gotten my new white Mercedes. I thought I was rolling. I had my Mercedes Benz, so at least I was pulling up in Hotel Bel-Air, in a classy car. Here comes Whitney talking about I'm casual in a $150,000 sable fur coat. And first I got a car. I go, "That's your casual?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's my casual, girl. But come on." But she had on blue jeans and a t-shirt underneath it.
Right.
And we went to the bar and had drinks, and then the bar closed down. And she says, "What do you want to do next?" And I was like, "Well, I got to work tomorrow." It's just, "Let's go play some cards." So we went to her room, and we played spades. And sang to Sade. And it's a memory I'll never forget. And I'll never forget that I was on a red carpet when I found out that she died. And I just literally collapsed. I was in Memphis, Tennessee, doing an event. And my friend came over and he was like, "Whitney just died." And I was like, "Dude, that's so not funny." And he's like, "No, V, she's dead." And it was like the Grammys. And I was like, "Wait, this doesn't make sense." And she was gone. She was gone. And then later I did, and it was very controversial, we did her story, Bobby Christina story. And I got to play Whitney Houston. And gosh, that was a tough loss. In my life, I'll never forget two people that died that it literally collapsed my world. And that was Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people around Whitney. Like, for example, Rodney Jerkins was one of her main producers. And number one, he said, and he's worked with everyone from Mary J. Blige. He's got Grammys, everything. And he said that's the greatest female singer ever. Hands down. He said, "Name me a person who could do the national anthem better than Whitney."
It is still to this day the best. I mean, Whitney Houston and then Marvin Gaye to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Those
you know
two.
what I mean?
Those
Those
two.
are like your top two. But literally, who could do the national anthem and have military men with tears streaming down? I mean, she just nailed it. She killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. Another gone too soon.
Yeah. So sad.
I went to her last album release party it was in New York, and she saw me and was like, "Hey, Vivica." She was just always the kindest and just the best.
Yeah, gone too soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Gone too soon. Well, the film Two Could Play That Game does very well. Opened up number 2 on the box office.
Yes,
does well overall. You had a few more movies along the way. In 2002, you did Joanna Man.
because I got hoop skills.
You did Boat Trip with Cuba Gooding Jr. Then in 2003, you did Kill Bill.
Yes.
Was that a big one for you?
Huge.
Huge.
Yes. The fact to work with Oscar-winning, Quentin Tarantino was just all that in a bag of chips. And that was another one that I had heard about that I asked my agent. I was like, "Yo, what's up? Kill Bill, Tarantino, what's happening?" And I got a call, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Tarantino wants to meet with you for the role. But it's not your ordinary audition. You're going to meet with him at a coffee shop. It will probably last 30 minutes, and he will let you know whether or not he's going to grant you an opportunity to audition. I said, okay, 30 minutes? Oh, wow. Yeah, you're going to talk about coffee if you don't vibe, you know? Well, that meeting lasted, I think, an hour and a half. He then came to my house because he wanted to make sure, because at the time there were a lot of actors and actresses that were kind of strung out on drugs. And what he was going to put us through, he wanted to make sure that mentally and physically we could go through it. He tortured the shit out of us. I'm going to keep that real. We trained for 6 months, damn near.
Yeah.
Or what was it? No, wait. 3 months. The first 3 months, 9 to 5. If you were late when you got in, they wrote it down. Baby, when I'm telling you, I went from a size like 8'10" at the time. I was a little fluffy from being married, down to a size 2, because all we did was work out, lift weights, run, do the choreography. Like, then they control what we ate. It was a very controlled environment. But when I saw how nice my booty, I had a little special booty light. You know what I mean? When I kick Uma through the door, I had a little special booty light. Then when I come into like the living room, there's a special booty light. If you go back and look at it, you're going to go, she's right. Her ass was, because I had been in the movie Booty Call. Sorry, Mr. Cosby. And Quentin Tarantino said, you can't be in a movie named Booty Call and we don't highlight that booty. And so,
there you go.
Yeah, so it was awesome. And then it did huge.
It did huge. You played Copperhead.
Yes.
Vernita Green.
Yes. But I should have been named motherfucking Black Mamba.
Mm-hmm. And Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu, David Carradine.
Yes.
Michael Jai White, I guess, was in the film somewhat.
Well, he was. His part was big, but at the time, Quentin, when we got the script, it was 222 pages long. I said, all of this ain't going to make it. Absolutely
not. It was
not.
2 parts.
Yes, which then they did chopped it up into 2 parts. But Michael J. White's part totally got edited down.
Yeah.
Quentin really wanted it to be about the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he got over
deservingly so. Yeah.
Well, then right around that time, that's when you and 50 Cent became a thing.
Yes.
Now, I remember there was a song by 50 called Bad News.
Yes. Was it about me?
Well, he said, they all want N-word to stop because I rap slick enough to slip the ring off of Vivica Foxx.
Okay, no.
You ever heard that before?
No, but I do know the story about the ring. So wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I think he was talking about you while you're still married. I think that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's not true. I didn't start dating him until I was divorced.
Well, okay. But I think maybe when he wrote the song, you were still married.
Oh.
See, that was off of his original
me?
mixtapes. Yeah, that was one of his old mixtapes, like 50 Cent is the Future or something like that. This is before his debut album.
I never heard this story before.
You want to hear it?
Well, I do know that I was his dream girl. He did tell me that. But I would love to hear it.
Let's pull it up. Lloyd Banks actually says that.
Oh, Lloyd Banks said, well, everyone was using the Vivica Foxx.
Lloyd Banks actually had the verse.
Yeah.
I messed up.
I think that was the thing that used to seem not fair to me about the rappers. How I was like, could y'all just send me a check? If it rhymes with Vivica Foxx and give you a hit, just do me a favor. Send me my cut. Right. You know?
Okay. So then how did you guys initially meet?
We met after he said the thing to Soul Train at the Soul Train Music Awards, and I want to thank Vivica Foxx for wearing that dress, which I was shocked. I mean, I don't know if you go back and see my reaction. I was just kind of like, wow. And then after that, his people got in touch with my people, and next thing I know, we were on the phone, and my birthday was coming up, and he's such a gentleman. He's very generous. I know him as Curtis. Always will. And the 50 Cent, those are his performing thing and who he is as a man. So I met Curtis. Because I remember when I first talked to him, I was like, so what do I call you? He was like, Curtis. That's my name. I said, okay, cool. But for my birthday, he filled my entire house with my favorite flowers, which were Casablancas and gardenias. And literally a van pulled up with flowers. Like, they kept bringing in stuff. I was like, more? Okay. So he's very generous and very kind and a gentleman.
Well, and at the time, Get Rich or Die Trying was out.
Yes.
And it was the biggest thing in music.
Yes.
Period. Of any genre.
Yeah.
The album goes diamond.
Yes.
He comes in and completely takes over the game.
Right.
And then now he's got, you connected to him. And I remember it was the VMAs.
Yes.
And you had that dress on.
Yeah.
That dress. Wow.
Yes, all that in a bag of chips.
All that.
Designed by Randy Rom, who I made sure he approved it, and we coordinated our outfits.
So now you guys are a public thing.
Right.
Did that put a lot of pressure on the relationship?
Yes.
Explain.
Well, I was already Vivica Foxx, from Independence Day, this and the third. And he now is becoming this huge mega rap star who is crossing over with In the Club. And I was used to fame, and the main thing that what killed the relationship was that we just went way too public, way too fast. The love that I had for him, and still to this day, will always, he was the love of my life. I will admit that without any reservations. He will always have a very special place in my heart. But the reason why the relationship ended was because we just went public way too fast, had way too many people in our business. And if I was to have a chance to do it over, it would be that we stayed private a lot longer. But we got too many people in our business, and, that's what killed the relationship, unfortunately, because I really loved him.
Well, you said at one point he was going to propose, and he
Yes.
had a 14-carat ring?
12.
12.
Yes.
Still a crazy ring.
Yeah.
What is that?
But he's 50 Cent.
$2 million ring or something like that? Something like that?
I don't know, but he got mad at me and turned it into a pair of earrings. Yeah, I found that out later. I was like, damn, B. Damn.
You could have had
I at
the
least
ring.
could have turned it into a pair of earrings if we broke up, but it's all good,
Okay. And I guess he went on his European tour.
Yes.
And at that point, I guess the relationship started to kind of devolve.
The relationship broke up after the World Music Awards. I came back and he was on the radio saying he dumped me.
You found out on the radio.
My friend Daryl Brown called me and said, yo, your boy's on the radio blasting you. And first I went, who? And he was like, 50 Cent. I was like, Curtis? He was like, yeah, he's telling everybody you guys broke up. And I was like, we did? Huh. So he never personally said, it's a wrap.
On the radio, huh?
Yeah, but he went on, and that was his way. That was his way. When I look back at it now, he went back to being that tough guy because, we really loved each other a lot at the time.
Yeah, because I remember I was hanging out with Game around that time, and
Yes.
I remember he announced that Game was kicked out of G Unit on the radio
Yeah,
as well.
see
And
what I'm
then,
saying? It's just
no
kinda-
one saw it coming. He
Yeah.
announces on the radio what should have been done in person.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's 50.
everybody has their way of doing things, and we're cool now. There's peace,
Yeah.
which I love more than anything else.
Well, but the years following that, it was...
Yeah, we went at it.
Right. So, for example, in 2005,
Yes.
50 had a song called Get in My Car, where he said, commitment from me, nah, not likely. Went out with Vivica. I thought I was onto something, but then the next week, nah, man, it was nothing.
Yeah, but then he was coming to my house and finding me at spas in
Yeah.
Vancouver. But, that was the image. And, trust for me how I felt driving down the street and it would come on the radio.
That song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or The Game rapping about me.
Yeah.
And he was his artist at the time.
Mhm.
That shit was awful to live through.
Yeah.
It broke my heart, but I still loved him.
Well, then in 2010, you show
Yeah.
up in this music video.
Yeah, I
Or
did.
Do You Think About Me,
Mm-hmm.
where you try to kill him in the video.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure there's some... that didn't require a lot of acting.
Yeah.
So you guys became cool. And then 2015, you do an interview and you kind of insinuated that 50 Cent is gay.
I was mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he did a double XL cover with him and Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
And you said that
I know
He-
Soulja Boy got mad at me too. I had to hit Soulja Boy. Personally, I was like, Soulja Boy, I'm mad at him right now,
Well,
not you.
I guess it got triggered from 50 allegedly saying that Empire was dropping off because there was too much gay stuff on the
Yeah.
show. And then when they brought up the cover, I guess you call him a booty snatcher.
Yeah, I was mad at him.
And you also said that the pot calling the kettle black.
And I was mad at him.
Yeah,
I was mad at him. And he found that out later. I happened to run into him at a New York Knicks basketball game, and we both were in the private section, and that's when I walked over to him and squashed our beef.
Right, because, Soulja Boy went at you.
Yeah, he
because
did.
of that.
But like I said, I hit him personally, directly.
You apologized, Soulja Boy, but not to 50.
I was mad at him. Do you know how much shit he had talked to me and how many albums and things that went out?
Well, right, because after you did that on, what was the show that you were on?
Andy Cohen.
Andy Cohen, right.
Watch What Happens Live.
Then he went on Twitter.
Yeah.
He put a picture, said,
plastic surgery.
Bad boob job.
Yeah.
And then he said, bitch, remember when you told me fuck Halle Berry and you could have played the roles better than her? And I just looked at you and said, the fuck kind of shit did you take?
Yeah.
So now he's trying to put out.
Yeah.
Did you actually say that about Halle Berry?
No.
Okay.
No, no. He's just, that one there, he just reaches, and he's not afraid to, when he wants to get you, he goes for the jugular.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, he's tough to fight with, but I'm the one bitch that would tell him, don't let me open up my vault on you.
Right.
And,
then the whole booty licking thing came
that
about.
Which was so false.
Well, he brought that up?
Yes. I don't even know where he got that from. I never went near his ass.
Nah?
At all.
Okay.
That's why I was just like, dude, where'd you get that from? At all. Look, hey, if I'm going to do some stuff, I ain't got no problem saying how I get my freak on. You know what I mean? But that wasn't a way.
Yeah.
Not at all. At all. That's why I was just, when I heard that, I was just kind of like, really?
Well, you guys
see how many punches I took?
Oh yeah, no, you took it. I mean, 50's mad at me too. Last I checked, so it just is what it is. You just learn to live with 50 being 50, and you just go on with your life.
It's all good.
Well, I guess you guys squashed it at a Knicks game.
Yes, that's what I was telling you. I ran into him at the beginning.
But then, he did an interview with Lil Wayne. He's talking about how he prefers exotic women and talked about angry black women not liking that.
Oh, who was that? Me?
And then you actually responded. You said he has such fuckboy tendencies. You know what I mean? When I read that, I was like, really? You would say that because you don't want anyone to challenge you or talk to you? You want somebody to sit over there and be pretty, to be a pretty little dog so you could just pay.
Pretty little doll.
Doll?
Doll.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes, it's
doll.
Okay.
You, 50 Cent, can't handle a black woman, can you? You don't think you can handle a black woman?
No. Once again, I was mad at him.
You were mad.
You know what I mean? Yeah, when we get mad at each other, we kind of, we say very mean things to each other. But as of right now, I've put that chapter behind me. He at the time, listen, you have to realize I was on Empire, and I'm a very loyal person, and Empire's my at the time. And still to this day, it's my family, And I'll never forget, Taraji came up to me. She's like, I got him. Stop saying stuff. I got it. I was like, fuck that. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? He can't be coming and talk about us. And you know what I mean? Like, why can't power be good? Why can't we all just shine together? So I was mad at him. Right. And I'm the one chick, everybody's like, well, if there's one chick that'll talk shit to 50 Cent, it's Vivica Foxx. But can I tell you, I'm glad that's so over. He now has a girlfriend that's beautiful, that's hot, and I'm happy for him. I hope he puts a ring on her finger and they live happily ever after. I don't wish him any ill will. Matter of fact, Tasha, my sister from Empire, is directing his new show. So,
there you go.
It's a love-hate situation, but they're at the core of it all is love. I have respect for him. And deep down in his heart, I know he has respect for me because he sees me doing my thing too. But don't come over here trying to talk no shit. Because you already know what's going to happen.
Right.
Right.
Well, then in 2007, you get a recurring role in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
Love that show.
Thank you.
Love that show.
LD.
Right. And you actually had a little romance with Larry David on the show.
On the show,
On the show.
Yeah.
Not off the show?
Hell no.
Not your type?
No. Gee, he's rich. He
is. He's
very. Can I tell you?
He's wealthy.
He's
wealthy.
Not
even rich.
Yes, right. He's on another level of wealth, right? But no, that experience was awesome. And I just can remember the day that we did have to kiss. He was really nervous. He kept walking around and putting peppermint on his tongue. I said, what are you doing? He's like, man, I'm kissing Vivica Foxx today. I got to have fresh breath.
I
said, all right, appreciate that.
In 2009, you were a spokesperson for the Psychic Friends Network?
Yeah, that was a big no. Yeah,
This was after Miss Cleo had died, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. You go,
You just
hey,
wish you
damn,
never-
they showed up with a lot of money. Damn, should have let that truck kept on going though.
How much money did they show up?
It was a lot.
It was a lot?
It was a lot of money.
Well, I guess you did like a commercial, but then you pulled out.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
God I was able to pull out of that one. That's when you got good people that work for you. Like, oh, found a loophole.
Found a loophole.
And we jumped right through it.
Well, then in 2015, you were on The Apprentice.
Yes.
With Donald Trump.
Yes.
Now, you've actually spoke highly of Trump during that time that you guys did the show together.
Donald Trump was the reason why I did the show.
Did you guys know each other from before?
No.
Okay.
But I had at the time, I had huge respect for him as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And his family, good looking, New Yorker, upper class, At the time, I was going through a chapter in my career where I wanted to reestablish the brand of Vivica Foxx as a good businesswoman. Everybody had gotten so caught up on my love life, Jesus Christ, that they forgot I could act, that they forgot I had a successful hairline, that they forgot that I was a producer, they forgot I was an award-winning actress. So I said, you know what? How I can fit into reality, this works for me. Because I'm not a mean chick. I'm not going to go on a show and catfight and all that. I ain't got time for that. God bless those that do it, but that's not my style of being successful, And so for me, Celebrity Apprentice was a good fit for me at the time because I wanted to show people that I'm a hard worker, that I'm good with money, that I get things. Well, that is 5 weeks. Was it 5 or 6 weeks? 5.5 weeks of my life I will never get back. Whew! My God, they work the living daylights out of you. Because what it is, Celebrity Apprentice is a test of endurance. And thank God I am one that is a producer, have established my own brand. So I'm used to working long hours. So it's a test of endurance more than anything else. They get your ass up. You are downstairs, ready to go, hair and makeup ready at 6:30, 6:45. They're very time oriented. And it's to challenge your wit and to put you with other people that don't have the same work ethic as you do and from different worlds as you do. So that's how people collide and fall off very easily. Well, me being in show business, I got to work with actors I can't stand or try to, make a production work, So for me, it was a good fit. Donald Trump was at the time. I get how people fall for him. He's extremely charming. He's a good ass talker. And he's like a bad used car salesman. He can sell your ass anything if you believe it at the time. That's how his ass ended up being the president. But at the time, to be in his presence was awesome. I mean, like I said, at that time had a huge amount of respect for him. I really did.
Did he ever try to hit on you?
No. I was one of his favorites. Oh my God, he used to get on my damn nerves. Vivica, so what really happened? And I was like, why are you always coming to me? He says, because you're the one who I can trust that will tell me the truth.
There you go.
So yeah, he liked me. I think he had respect for me, that he saw how hard of a worker that I was and that I would tell the truth and that I cared about other people.
Well, you and Kenya Moore went at it.
Yeah, we did. We had an epic boardroom showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys cool now or?
Now we are. We literally on my new show, Cocktails with Queens.
Well, and then you got on Empire.
Oh, so anyway, Kenya Moore and I, we were able to squash our beef recently on Cocktails with Queens, and I'm glad. Another, I'm not one. I don't build my career on having beef with people. I build my career on talent.
There you go. Then you get on Empire.
Yes.
You play Cookie Lion's sister.
Yes.
What was it like to be on Empire when the whole Jussie Smollett thing started to happen?
That was toward the end, to be very honest with you.
It was.
And it was surprising. Didn't have any idea that that was even looming at all. And I hit I hit Jussie and gave him my support, and I still support him to this day. And I prefer not to say whether or not I believe what happened or did not happen. He's someone that I care about, always will, and things happen.
I mean, from your point of view, was the whole fiasco around his situation the reason why the show ended?
No, not at all. No. Matter of fact, there was another chapter that was planned, and then COVID happened.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you very much. Awesome to work on. Great clothes.
Yeah.
Great set. I got to film in Chicago in the Midwest. I'm from
Mm.
Indianapolis, Indiana. So it was kind of like bringing some Hollywood to the Midwest. So that was dope.
Well, then in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
Independence Day 2 comes out.
Yes.
Why was Will Smith not in it?
They didn't want to pay him.
There you have it.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay him. Had they paid Will Smith, and he had his things, what they should have paid him. We made almost $1 billion. That we would have, if Will was there, we would have done 2 and 3. And they didn't want to pay him, unfortunately, and the movie sucked.
I saw the movie. It wasn't great.
Yeah. Listen, let me
wasn't
tell
bad.
you something. When I knew it was what happened, when I was at the premiere and I was just kind of sitting there going, ooh, wow, this one, maybe not. And let me tell you, when it came out at 12 o'clock, which they did the whole thing, people were literally sending me the ticket and throwing it in the trash. And it was pretty bad. So, but those happen. I mean, but internationally they made their money. So it is what it is. That type of film, I just wish that they had paid Will his money and we would have done 2 more.
So he was down to do it. They
Yes.
just didn't want to cut the check.
Yeah.
Well, it
Happens.
is what it is.
Happens.
It is what it is. Well,
Yeah.
by that time, I mean, sure, he was asking 100 times what he was asking for the first film, because by that time he
was right.
he
It's
was
20
massive.
years later.
Yeah,
but,
20 years later. And
It's not like he doesn't have a track record.
yeah,
to
Men in
prove
Black, like
that-
so many classic movies under his belt.
Yes. He's box office gold.
He is. He is. Then in 2017, you dropped a memoir.
Yes.
And I think that kind of, the whole 50 Cent thing kind of resurged after that.
Right. And at first he thought I was insulting him. And
Yeah.
then he found out later that I wasn't. And
Yeah.
he held the book up and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But I was ready. I was like, come over here trying it. Try it, Curtis. Just try it.
And I mean, you just kept making movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the movies just and TV shows just never stopped. I mean,
I'm having
Sharknado.
amazing- yes.
You did a movie called Kinky. You did 2 Christmas movies.
So Wrong, It's Right franchise.
Yeah,
28
the
films
wrong,
that
the wrong franchise.
28 films that I've produced and starred in.
You know, you were in the TV series The Bay.
Yes.
You were in the movie Fire and Rain. I mean, it's like literally
The
just
receipts are long.
too many movies. You know, you were in Chocolate City with my
Yes.
man Michael Jai White
Yeah.
and Mekhi Phifer. I mean, what year was your first film or TV appearance?
1989.
89.
Days of Our Lives.
So over 30 years, I don't see a single year that you don't have a project. Is that right?
Well, I went on the road and did stage for about 14 months. So,
Okay.
yeah, but I was working as an actress.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, what's really the secret to being a working actress for 30 plus years?
Versatility.
Hmm.
Versatility has definitely been the key to my longevity. And I stress that to other young actresses that come up and like, geez, Vivica, you're everywhere now. Because usually a woman in her 50s, Hollywood, puts you out to pasture. You have no more to offer. And I'm proving that wrong.
Yeah. I mean, literally just dozens and dozens and dozens of projects.
Thank you.
Over and over again. I mean, do you feel like it's easier now or it's harder now?
Easier, without a doubt.
Why is that?
And that's just because the African-American community is so supportive of their projects that there used to be a time when I first started acting that they was like, you can't go international, you can't star in a film, you can't star in a TV show, we can't sell it international. It's all these can't. Well, we're now proving that wrong with us starring in television shows, in movies that are all extremely successful. So it's an excellent time to be an African-American actress, producer, and director in Hollywood, and I'm taking full advantage of it.
Right. And I'm looking through your music video appearances. Very interesting bag here. I mean, we talked about Tupac, Papa's song.
Yes.
You're also in, Puff Daddy and the Family, Been Around the World.
Yes. The very first one was Climax, though. Meeting in the ladies' room.
Okay, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Foxy Brown, Big Bad Mama.
Yes.
You were in a Rick James video
Glow.
for Glow.
Glow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get to hang out with Rick James?
Yes,
during
I
that time?
did. Yeah, at the time he was sober, which I'm very glad. But yeah, I've hung out with the best.
LL Cool J,
Yeah.
Strictly Business. Kelly Price, Brian McKnight, B2K, Girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, you just kept working. And you talked about one of your biggest regrets is you never had kids.
Yes.
Is that because of the work schedule?
Yes. And not finding the right guy. It's a combination of both.
Yeah.
And then when that ship sailed for me, then all of a sudden I got 6 godchildren. So only thing I have to do is spend the afternoon or a complete day with my children, with my godbabies. And I'm like, I'm good. But it's not a regret. My career is amazing. And I wouldn't trade that in for anything. But like I said, I've got 6 godchildren who trust and believe. It's like having children with their Gigi. I don't miss a birthday.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, my godchildren saved my life when I didn't have children. And I was kind of getting sad about it. That the love that they gave me when I hear Gigi and the smiles and the hugs, that they love me for me. It's not the hair. It's not the makeup. It's not, they love who I am. And that means a lot to me.
Do you have an all-time favorite project out of all the dozens of films you've done?
Oh, can I say my top 5? Just not
Let's do
one.
your top 5.
My top 5 of my films would be Independence Day, Set It Off, Soul Food, Two Can Play That Game, and Kill Bill.
Pow.
Yes. Those are the best.
Quite a
of the
lineup.
best.
Quite a lineup.
Yeah.
Quite a lineup.
Yeah.
Does it all bother you that you haven't won any Oscars?
Oh, it's coming.
Coming?
It's coming.
Do you have Emmys?
No, no Emmys. I've had a lot of nominations.
Yeah.
And I've won NAACP and some other ones and some theater awards, Spirit Awards. It's coming, I hope one day to get on that stage and say, I want to thank my mom and them. I love y'all. It's been all worth it. I left home when I was 17 years old. And, I can't wait to do that speech.
Well, Vivica A. Foxx, quite a career and quite an accomplishment to come from a small town.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, to have dreams of LA. And like right now, thousands of people are taking the bus and the train into LA hoping to do what you've done. And most of them will end up not achieving any of those dreams. Will end up
going back home.
Going back home or just becoming waitresses and never really, progressing. Me living in LA, I've had a lot of friends that have tried over and over again.
Me too.
And have never even gotten to step one. Such a hard town to really make a name for yourself, but you've really kind of conquered it.
Can I tell you the key to that is that I have an excellent team. And that's another thing I shared in my book. Yeah. That you got to build yourself a squad that believes in you, that sees opportunities for you that you didn't even see for yourself. I had absolutely no idea that I would be an author, a producer, and now a director. And so it is because of my team, my agent, my business partners, my publicists, that they see all kind of different opportunities for me. And they'll tell me, I can tell you 99% of my career, I've made good choices. I've had 1 or 2 stinkers.
We all do.
And that you look back and go, oh, should have did that one. But overall, I've made some good choices. And that's something that I also share. Try to make good choices. Don't go after the instant money. Look at the longevity. Don't look at the small picture. Look at the big picture. Build a career, not a moment.
There you go. Appreciate the time. Until
You're welcome,
next time.
darling.
Peace.
This has been fun.